Presented by RomulusIT.com, offering remote support for common computer problems.
At Capital IQ, I found myself at the age of 28 being the CEO of Capital IQ, and we had a lot of headwinds at Capital IQ. The bubble burst in the U.S. economy, dot-com bubble, that is. We had a terrible 9/11 event. There was a terrible, economic environment to be selling into financial services. And really, I had to get very creative about, how are we going to market and sell our product? And, unbeknownst to myself, with using a yellow pad and Excel and my contacts, I kind of created a system for relationship building and optimization and selling. And really, after selling Capital IQ and after years passed, I realized that I had, whereas Capital IQ was the junior tool I always wanted when I was a banker, or else I was the senior tool I always wanted when I was in a revenue generation capacity. And that was sort of the impetus of relationship science.
Fair enough. I've seen a separate talk with you where you mentioned this, describing yourself as a bit of an introvert. From starting up companies and having to go out and get funding, what was that like, learning to sell? Is that a skill that you had to pick up on the fly?
Yeah, it's interesting. This idea of being a CEO, it's not, I don't know that there's anybody that's like born a Renaissance person and they are good at everything. Typically, I had a unique skill and passion for building products. And for me to be able to do that, there's these other things that have to get done, managing people and hiring people and building culture and raising money and dealing with investors and a board and selling and all those things, So I had to kind of figure all that out. And, I think any good CEO and any good executive really of any sort is, trying to, they recognize their skills that they need to do what they want to do. Jack Welch, who, ran GE for a bazillion years and was considered a top manager, he wasn't born like Jack Welch, the amazing manager. He had to learn a lot of things to become that. So, I just buckled down and tried to learn those things. And I made a real study of everything that I didn't know how to do. And selling was one of them. And it's, if you'd like, I'll let you take me there if you want to go there, but I could tell you, what I learned in that regard and how to, sell and raise money and connect with people. But it's a very specific set of skills.
Well, look, I was certainly going to ask you about your journey through entrepreneurialism and the ups and downs, but sales is a great place to start. And a lot of business books hammer people that it doesn't really matter what you do day to day. You're always selling yourself on some level. So I'd love to hear your insights on that.
Yeah. So look, it's interesting. I think a tremendous skill as a CEO, as a salesperson, business person is storytelling. And what is storytelling? Storytelling is you are talking to someone you may or may not know well, and you want to take them with your words, take them on a journey to imagine, what could be. And you have to do that, you first have to get a sense of where they are in relation to what you want to talk about. Start there. Because if you start a little ahead, they're going to miss the whole thing. You have to start there, and then you have to use words and pictures and gestures and whatever it is to methodically help somebody join you in a mental picture of what it could be. And storytelling is it's like what humanity is built on, and it's how we really communicate. And so to be able to just to immediately try to connect with someone, understand a story, to see what the story is that you're going to connect on, and then to do it is a amazing skill. And it's something I actually did like that part, because when you storytell, which you're actually connecting with another human being, which is like one of the great pleasures of being alive. Even if you're selling, some people sell and they don't care what they're talking about. I've started companies that I've been passionate about. And so to actually tell someone and to tell them, they're looking to do something important with their business, and you're trying to tell them, like, and here's how, we've got chocolate and you've got peanut butter, and this is how that works together. And to engage in that closeness over the terms of the story and that interaction is like actually quite enjoyable. When you get to it in that dimension. So that's the biggest part. And yes, the answer is, here's the thing, if you're CEO, I meet a lot of CEOs. I meet a lot of young CEOs. I love actually meeting young CEOs. And a lot of people like me are more, started with product vision, and not everybody makes this transition to, really to selling. But if you have something great and nobody knows about it, and nobody knows about it in the most powerful way, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to continue your vision. So, and then I would just add one thing, having a genuine interest in people is critical. I think, if you're trying to sell and you're actually not really interested, it's laborious. If you are, it's quite interesting to learn about someone and their business and how they're doing it, and you're trying to tell them how you could just help them do it better together. It's fascinating to learn about other people and other businesses.
This episode is brought to you by Romulus IT, offering fast, affordable remote support for common computer problems, including troubleshooting, health checks, virus removal, and software support. Visit RomulusIT.com to get your computer back on track.